And we want to see a UFO. We want to see that alien. We need to see that alien. They said, bring everyone. And they called in the Navy SEALs, the swimming ducks, you name it. This led to over 30 police cars, black helicopters. It shifted. This is when I realized the moment the sugar honey iced tea just might get a little real.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry, what?
The sugar honey iced tea just might get a little real.
We are receiving reports that large humanoid aliens are seen at the Miami Mall.
Here we go again. Aliens, extraterrestrials, once again, started the new year right off the top like it's supposed to. This is when I told you we were going to have a good year this year. I said it a few days ago. I've been saying it all year long. And what a great start, if it's a conspiracy or not. But the story is they are here, they're walking among us, and they're getting braver and braver if the story is where it is. We're going to go over some of that tonight. But the point I'm trying to make to you, if you're watching this, is that get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Because, man, this year is going to be a blast. And never before in my life, I feel that I'm in the right place at the right time, doing what I'm supposed to be doing, talking to you, sharing with you, investigating this thing, being in this thing all the way to the top. And I am just elated. Why? It happened before. Now, we're going to compare it tonight with that Las Vegas one, okay? You remember the stories and now the images, or not images, but the descriptions are really similar now. People are talking about the same thing. Now, is this a coincidence? And I will always tell you, coincidence is God's way of being anonymous. Keep that in mind. The conversation that we're talking about here, the Miami incident, which occurred January 1st. January the 1st. And if you have a birthday on January the 1st, I want to say happy birthday to you to start out the new year. And as always, at the Bayfront Marketplace is where it all was the subject of most of the speculation and rumor, particularly regarding the possibility of extraterrestrial beings. We get into the incident details. It begins when local residents reported teenagers setting off fireworks in an open air mall. These one of these malls that probably don't have a ceiling, so they knew they can shoot these things up into the sky and they'll go straight up and they're not going to hit the roof. So make a perfect place. Now, this activity led to a considerable response from law enforcement. I'm talking, they called in the Navy SEALs, the swimming ducks, you name it. They said, bring everyone.
Bring everyone. No, don't ask me questions, all right?
This led to over 30 police cars, black helicopters.
Now, that was some strange shit right there.
Now, this alone right there should have already scratched your feathers a little bit. Black helicopters. I don't know anything about the Miami PD, but if they use black helicopters on a regular basis, okay, that's fine. Black freaking helicopters arrived to the scene. The situation resulted in chaos, disturbance, affecting local businesses, transportations. Now, they did arrest 4 teenagers, resulted in I think they charged them with burglary, grand theft, battery, and it was resisting the officer. Of course, right? That makes sense. Now, let's get into a little part of those rumors of this event. Amidst the chaos, rumors and the conspiracy theories began to circulate online fast, mainly on Twitter. Twitter went off the chart. My text messages went off the charts. Did you see this? Did you see this? And I wasn't even going to talk about it tonight. I was going to go through religion and all the religious backgrounds of what these extraterrestrials and how and what we and who. I was going to get into that, but we'll do that next week. But this here, I said, okay. And finally, let's go with it, particularly TikTok, like I said. And then there was other social media platforms. The rumors included claims of witnesses. Now, this is where it shifts. This is when I realized the moment the sugar honey iced tea just might get a little real.
You damn right, wise ass.
Because now we got witnesses, and we already know what witnesses can do in our justice system. Hell, somebody can say they saw you do something and you'll go to jail for the rest of your life. And you wasn't caught on camera. They didn't have no evidence. They didn't have nothing. As long as the witness is credible, we'll get back to that. Keep that to the side. Credible witnesses. Well, anyway, they was talking about 8-foot tall shadow beings. Why would they use the term shadow? Well, we already talked about in Vegas that they, remember the guy said that they would kind of using the camouflage type suits, and see, everybody kind of ignored that. Now, I'm not, okay, let me stop right now. I'm not agreeing with the story yet. We're going to go through some things together. I'm just commentating on this side and that side, okay? Just remember this. Now, they talked about humanoid creatures at the mall. Some of these accounts describe the creatures as tall, slender, possessing unusual limbs, and with the skin that shimmered like ethereal silver hue. That was one of the things that really stuck out for everything.
Doesn't that seem strange to you?
Suddenly, I started looking into the police side of stuff. Now, the Miami Police Department had officially debunked the rumors of alien creatures being involved in the incident. They clarified that the supposed alien sightings was actually shadows of people walking, and as the evidence by video footage analyzed by the police, why would they even need to analyze the videos anyway? They was there. When they showed it, hell, there's freaking police car sitting right there when that thing walked off. We'll show that later on into the show. Why would they have to analyze something that their officers was already standing, supposedly, unless they all was away from those cars and went into the mall? They also said that the massive police response was attributed to initial panic caused by the fireworks, which were mistakenly reported as possible gunshot. All right, we're gonna that's the report. Let's put this to the side. We're gonna get into this whole thing. So basically what happened, now let's break this down. The events report are varied and they're conflicting across the board. On one hand, there are eyewitness accounts on social media posting about a humanoid creature, a strange creature, roaming the mall, like they came there to shop. On the other hand, official report says the Miami Police Department describes the teenagers armed with sticks involved in a fight, which led to a massive police presence for the crowd control. Now, contradiction lies in the nature of the incident, all right? So I want you to kind of know where we're going with this. A mundane case of juvenile misconduct, or was it really something more extraordinary? We have to ask those questions. And once again, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. I don't care what you hear and what you don't hear. If you're not ready for the point that extraterrestrials exist, the possibility of them coming to this planet, you would probably say to yourself, well, hell, I don't care anyway.
Damn right.
All right, but we're going to go through some of this stuff. The question that I have for you and for us to go over this thing is, why are eyewitnesses' account of humanoid creatures at odds with the official police report of teenage misconduct? Now, we're going to do some comparison, right? Let's do some comparison. Las Vegas incident, you remember that. And I wanted to point out the fact that at that time, the young man called 911. Police showed up, they had body cam, they, said that we had to turn them off before we can go in. But what he described in the particular extraterrestrials seemed to match exactly what they were describing in this. Almost the same thing in Peru, remember? We can also think and say, okay, Roderick, that's cool. Maybe all the people who are talking about it were just trying to add to the flair. Because obviously, I had not heard, and maybe you've heard right now, I have not heard any 911 calls yet that have been released where somebody called the police and said, hey, there is some extraterrestrial beings walking or some creatures walking. Maybe the cover-up could show that, or maybe they have not. And they haven't even released the latter where people have been calling to say, yo, man, there's sticks and guns and wherever it is. All right, I'm going to throw something else out there to you in a minute. I'll get to that. And it's just me throwing some reality to you.
Just get to the point.
Another part of this, compare the eyewitness descriptions against police statement. You have to do this if you want to talk about the conspiracy. We have two conflicting stories. One is official, one is unofficial. But the fact that News Nation or News Hill or whatever, there's a couple of big stations that actually picked up on the story makes perfectly sense. That why would they waste their dollars and cents and everything? But it is news, and it is news. This is the very reason I'm sitting here talking about it, because it's trending. And I'm also talking about it because I'm a UFO investigator and I'm interested. Another part is we have to discuss how the chaos led to all of these different interpretations of this event. We have to look at the contradictory of what's happening. One side over here, one side over there. I'm going to give you some lessons tonight. I'm going to give you how you interpret these conspiracies and what you need to look for. And this is what I do in all my reports and things. So I'm educating. This is infotainment tonight. Infotainment, okay? Put it in the chat, infotainment. And if you find value, you can support the show. You see the link down right there, the Cash App. Here is the moment when I felt that this was some strange sugar honey iced tea. When the response was 30 police cars and black fucking helicopters. I mean, that gotta, and at this point, black helicopters were gathering adolescents, setting off fireworks, and that should raise your eyebrows, number one, for you skeptics. I do have another theory that I don't want to go there, but I'll go there, but I'll show you in the video a little later. If you look at the news, it was, okay, a predominantly, without a shadow of a doubt, a young black African-American teenage crowd.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry, what?
A young black African-American teenage crowd. Go back and look at the video. I'm not making this up.
Then what's the point if the police are swarming all over the place?
That could be a calculated response, how we already know what happens here in America, okay? And that could concern a lot of people. You, as parents, whoever. They showed up with helicopters, guns, trucks, Navy SEALs, swimming ducks, CIB, CIC, FBI, FBC. They called every three-letter agency probably could have been called, maybe because it was a young crowd of black African Americans.
This is a phase one, real world, bring everyone in.
Now, let's set that to the side. We don't even have to go back there. I'm just using that to say, if the reason was not, and it comes out that it was not no extraterrestrials, they have no other explanation to explain why would you bring so much freaking force to a incident in that significant manner that everything's short but the Army, who cannot be on our grounds. Okay, you know that. So they couldn't call that. I'm putting that out there because I can, and I did. The intensity of the law enforcement response seemed disproportionate to the reported calls, leading to suspicions of a cover-up or even something more significant. So this is where we have to begin to take this side with that side, because obviously it was disproportionate. They responded, once again, as though it was the president was there and somebody popped a firecracker and everybody responded for the protection. They came in full, forget force. Force would be 5 or 6 cars. Like I said, somebody got on the microphone and they got on the phone and they said, bring everyone. And they did. Now, do we need to question this? This is part of the conspiracy side. We got to look at the whole suspicion of this whole event. You got to look at it. You got to make this determination. So I already taught you how to contradict these things. That's your first step. Second step, you want to look at the how, and I train on this, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, this is what I do. So I'm giving you the blueprint. So when you hear stuff in the future, you analyze it the way we're talking about it tonight. You got to look at the overriding suspicion. Now, in this part, this is where you're going to get, and give you an example to go back. When you contradict any kind of theory, when people are in conspiracy theory mode, it doesn't matter what they hear. They're going to believe what they believe. And some of them are so strong that they can believe 2 different conspiracies at once versus the truth. So, for example, when Diana, had that accident, Princess Diana. Well, some people say it was the paparazzi. Some people say she was faking her own death, but nobody believed it was a car wreck. But they still contradict that. Now, we do want to question, is the heavy police response to fireworks an indication of something more significant? Let's analyze the scale of the police response. That was a huge freaking response to that particular situation. And you have to compare it to other events. When they called at the Las Vegas one, let me put it to you like this. Only a few officers showed up because it was a joke, they thought. But I promise you, if there was some truth in this, they went back, they called the FBI, they called Arrow, they called all these people, and they said, we need to have a response in place for the future if this goes to happen again at some point. And all these counties kind of said, you know what, they probably happened. I would love for a police officer of some kind contact us on the show and then tell us if they have getting some kind of protocol about preparing, because that was one thing that they said after that Las Vegas one, that officers and peace officers was not prepared. They had not been trained for this type of response that is becoming more frequent than anything before. They haven't been trained for this. And why would they? But they are training them now. And obviously we just saw the response of the real deal. Okay, maybe. Allegedly. All right, let's go there. So y'all want to be putting it all out. The other part of this, examine if such a response is a standard protocol or anomaly. You have to start looking at those particular facts. And we can say this was disproportionately. Maybe they said because it was in a mall. Maybe they said it was gunshots. But I'm sure clearly enough that there was people who were able to see the fact that those people were firing fireworks, and they gave the report to the officers prior to them coming. The first one, somebody, some businesses, some store, somebody had to have given the police officers the information up front. That's dispatch. Dispatch had to have said they got guns, they're shooting people, because what you didn't see, listen to me, what you didn't see in this response was a bunch of ambulance and fire trucks, first responders in case somebody was injured. You didn't see none of that.
No, I tell you what the answer to that is, hell no.
You saw people coming with big ass guns, big ones, police, black helicopters. So the response was proportionate to something major. And once again, if they responded to that because it was a bunch of teenagers, they were black teenagers, we got a problem again that needs to be exposed, because they was coming, they could have killed and shot a lot of people. That is the problem with this. But there was no gunshots and nobody got hurt out of that big ass commotion, because the intent probably was totally different. That's my conspiracy part of it. Now let's go into, was there any nefarious intent in this? Now we know the presence of men in black type of individuals have been reported on a lot of different sources. And this adds the layer of mystery and hence to a potential involvement of cover-up. People were reporting that they saw some men in black. I've heard that through the grapevine, through some of these reportings. Why would we hear that? What implications does the sighting in men in black type figures have to do with the incident? I don't think people was that freaking creative that fast, where they're gonna say, we're gonna make this up, we're gonna say it's aliens, we're gonna make it up, and we're going to show that it was extraterrestrials and they was all over the place. I'm not saying that is what is going on. But don't that make you wonder though? You gotta question this stuff. You have to question it. And you have to get beyond the fact that extraterrestrials are real and aliens are real. We're past that point. UFOs are real. It's confirmed. I know every UFO is not an alien. I can tell you that. I agree with you. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to say that. I do know that every UFO that's flying around is identified as unidentified flying object is things that we don't know what it is. And not everything flying in the sky is made by aliens. It's multinational corporations and, military testing stuff. But I will tell you that all of the aliens use UFOs to go around. Let me give you a better example. Now, I don't get into politics, but let me just try to give you a better analogy that I can think of. Got one. All of President Trump's followers are not racist. Okay. And that's a fact. That is a true freaking fact. They are not racist. However, all the racists follow Trump. Duh. That's what I'm trying to say about all the aliens do use UFOs. They do, but not all. Okay, maybe that was bad. I hope that you don't take it the wrong way. I was just trying to make a
You trying to be funny?
acknowledgement that could stuff. And we want to see a UFO. We want to see that alien. We need to see that alien. We've been wanting to see one all of our lives, up front, close and personal. So whenever time that comes out, we're going to jump on it like a fly or whatever on Sugar Honey Iced Tea. We're going to jump on it. We need that alien on that wall, right? We want it.
You damn right.
So I understand the idea of people saying, Roderick, I saw an alien. I saw it. Get this video. Look at it. It has to be true. So I take my time and then I analyze things. But I do think of the psyop side. I do think of the psychological part of social media. I do think of the impact that other stuff have. I have to. There is no other way to look at this. And there's no other way for you to look at it. But you gotta break it down. Take off the top layer. Take off that hat of the top of the whole. It has to be this, and this, and start going in reverse of what it's not. And if you go in reverse, you may get a little more truth in it. And that's the best way to look at it. That's all I'm saying. You have to. You don't have another choice to do that. You have to. The other part would be when you think about how social media works, Twitter posts,